Hello everyone, and welcome to my Bold and Beautiful Today channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. On the office couch, do Hope and Carter make a fool of themselves? Hope and Finn are caught in a precarious situation by Steffy. Steffy informed Finn at home that she didn't look forward to coming to work. Although there might be conflict at work with Hope and Ivy, she claimed to love her job. Unlike Hope, Steffy pointed out, Ivy was a Forrester and belonged there. There must be a way for everyone to get along, Finn remarked. All right, Carter, responded Steffy. It sounded like Carter was throwing his weight around, Finn observed. Carter was an excellent COO, but Steffy retorted that something didn't feel quite right. She gave Carter's recent fixation on turning the business into something it was never supposed to be as an example. Steffy went on to say that it was strange that Carter had backed HFTF now that it was performing poorly. Being amiable and encouraging is one thing, but being so strongly in favor of Hope? I'm not sure. I believe that Hope has somehow gotten into this head, Steffy remarked. Steffy was advised by Finn to keep in mind that, in the end, it didn't matter what Ivy or Hope did to offend her. Finn claimed that it took him much too long to comprehend Steffy's worries around Hope, but that he finally does. Finn believed that Hope was ashamed of her actions and that Steffy no longer needed to be concerned about her. After Steffy departed for work, Finn discovered she had left her iPad behind. Hope expressed her admiration for Carter in the designer's office. Carter claimed that Hope needed to move on from Steffy's attacks and that he was sick of it. Both of them had heard that Ridge was in favor of reviving the jewelry line, and they were happy that Steffy would have a new opponent. Admire Days, B&B, General Hospital, or other soap operas? Participate in the discussion on our SC boards. To interact with fans and start a conversation right away, click here. Carter observed that Brooke's bedroom's updated designs were displayed on a rack in the office. Hope cautioned Carter as he examined the objects. Hope crooned, "You know what happens when you see lingerie, you imagine me in it." He might be able to persuade her to do a modeling job, she hinted. Brooke entered after Hope and Carter had just started kissing. If they wanted to keep their connection a secret, Brooke advised them to use greater caution. Hope warned her mother, "You should be aware that Steffy threatened me and Hope for the future once more." Hope reiterated how Steffy claimed to have saved HFTF and how she had threatened to cut off contact with Hope if she went too far with Finn once more. Brooke implied that Hope was interested in Carter when he remarked, "I guess she doesn't have to worry about that now." "No, she doesn't," Hope smiled in response. Carter looked at his phone, but there was nothing there. Carter remarked, "I thought I would have heard from Ridge today." He inquired as to if Ridge had expressed any feelings to Brooke on the proposal. Ridge and Brooke had not discussed work, according to Brooke. Carter also mentioned that he hadn't heard from Eric and believed that he was being abandoned. Hope and Carter expressed their mutual belief in one another. Carter promised to see whether Ridge shared Hope's faith in him and his plan. When Hope was by herself, she told her mother how thrilled she was about Carter's proposal and how she believed it would benefit the business. As her mother observed her with interest and worry, Hope continued to talk about how much she believed in Carter. Hope thought Carter could persuade everyone to support him, but Brooke cautiously warned her not to get her hopes up. Hope persisted in telling Brooke that taking the chance was the best course of action for the business. Hope was confident Ridge would accept the idea. Yes, without a doubt, Hope emphasized. When Ridge saw Taylor in the CEO's office, she informed him that she would see Steffy but would not stay to cause trouble. When she smiles at him, it makes him more productive, Ridge added, urging Taylor to stay. Taylor expressed gratitude to him for all of his calls and texts. Taylor told him, "It may sound silly, but it lifted my spirits. It wasn't meant to be absurd." Ridge remarked, "I wanted you to know you're not alone." Taylor informed Ridge that she had visited Grace Buckingham the previous day and that the physician was happy with her development. "I liked the numbers, but my heart wasn't 100%, Taylor said. Grace was overjoyed to learn about their collaboration with Chandra, Taylor continued. Ridge informed Taylor how much he and everyone loved her and acknowledged that it was an experience he would never forget. Taylor said to Ridge, "I always assumed the brain controlled the body, but the heart does too." Although they acknowledged that Taylor was still in danger, they also thought her future was bright. At that moment, Carter entered. He was sorry to interrupt, but he wanted to talk to Ridge about his suggestion. Ridge became apprehensive, but Carter persisted with his proposition for Taylor's benefit, updating her on his plan to grow Forrester by introducing premium goods and brands. Carter said to Taylor, "Help me persuade this man to make the best choice of his career." Carter restated his main themes once more. "I've done the investigation. We can do this." Carter exclaimed to Ridge, "Just let me know when you're ready." Ridge informed Carter that Steffy, Eric, and Brooke had all contributed to the decision. At the very least, Carter pushed Ridge to acknowledge that the business needed to expand. Ridge claimed that once he had revived the jewelry line, it just did. They moved one step forward and 2 steps back, Carter grumbled. Carter clarified that while he believed Steffy and her constant threats to cancel HFTF were a problem, the jewelry line should help other lines. Carter claimed he didn't want one of Forrester's most important lines to be impacted by Steffy's affections for Hope. Ridge remarked, "I understand what you're saying. Are you also listening to me on expansion?" Carter inquired. As his friend, Ridge was supposed to support Carter by providing Eric, Steffy, and Brooke. Carter's plea caught Ridge off guard, so he stated forcefully, "As your friend, I'll tell you we'll make a decision very soon." Hope sat at the desk in the designer's office by herself, remembering the time she had spent looking at lingerie with Carter. She thought back to the day she had mentioned to Carter that she would do a modeling session for him before having an epiphany. Glancing through the new assortment, she picked one up and sprinted behind the changing screen. Finn entered with Steffy's tablet and looked at the desk to compose a note as Hope was putting on the lingerie. Hope shouted, "Lock the door," as she heard someone enter. "I had been anticipating your arrival." Finn questioned Hope what she was doing as he saw her emerge from around the screen wearing lingerie. Hope stumbled and fell into Finn after tripping over a roll of cloth on the floor, startled that it was Finn and not Carter. When Steffy entered, she noticed Hope in lingerie on top of Finn, who was reclining back on the desk. "I hope. Get away from my spouse now," Steffy roared. Hope Logan and Carter Walton were thrown together on Bold and the Beautiful because they were serial lovers who were constantly switching between potential suitors on the CBS soap opera. Hope first targeted Thomas Forrester and later Finn following her divorce from Liam Spencer. The Buckingham sisters are the first of Carter's recent victories, though. He next proceeded to Quinn Fuller and, at last, Katie Logan. Given that they have somewhat different expectations for a relationship today, both exhibit considerable instability in their romantic landing zones. This probably turns into a recipe for a B&B catastrophe. Hope Logan gets a dose of feel-good, Bold and the Beautiful? The Beautiful and Bold has Carter Walton is giving Hope Logan the same romantic tidbits that she received from Thomas Forrester, Matthew Atkinson. She absorbs it and transforms it into a seductive act, essentially acting in the same way. She appears to be in a similar situation as she was with Thomas. Carter isn't asking for anything more, of course, just yet. Their courtship is still in its early stages. Beautiful and brave, Carter Walton, I Hope Logan. However, history suggests that he will eventually desire more, such as a family. I thus hope Logan will keep enjoying the extracurricular activity on the couch in the design area and at the office desk. Until he wants more, that is. However, like Thomas, Carter Walton is likely to misinterpret her. Since they each have different plans for the future, this plays out as they both embarrass themselves on the workplace couch. Furthermore, things will probably get risky shortly because Steffy Forrester is actively pursuing this covert couple. B&B, is Carter Walton getting faster? Fans of Bold and the Beautiful find it nearly embarrassing when Carter Walton uses the same terms he used in his past romantic relationships. Additionally, this new connection with Hope Logan was just as short-lived as prior ones. Even the COO's relationship with Katie Logan, Heather Tom, was questioned by Brooke Logan. The Logan matriarch was unaware that Carter and her sister were no longer together. Hope, who enjoys being courted, is now courted by the COO, but that is the extent of her involvement. The Logan daughter is not likely to commit, but these days, Carter Walton is just interested in longevity. He also travels at warp speed. Fans of Bold and the Beautiful are aware of his desire to get married soon based on his recent romantic relationships. Is it Carter versus Hope in Bold and the Beautiful? Hope Logan and Carter Walton have a connection to Bold and the Beautiful, but it fades quickly. They join forces to fight the Forresters. Thus, Eric Forrester, John McCook, sets the boundary as the struggle for their position in the organization starts. Carter is not a Forrester, even if they have made him feel like family. This week on Bold and the Beautiful, Eric clarified that Hope is in worse shape because she was once targeted because she is a Logan. However, she continues to avoid attacks to this day. Carter has a vision, and people need to hear his fight. Steffy, who is trying to get her everywhere, fights Hope. Thus, they share this characteristic. They deceive themselves into believing they can accomplish this together. However, the fact that their last names are incorrect probably makes that insufficient. As a result, Carter most likely feels that he has little influence over the business as the COO. Additionally, Steffy probably gets her way and puts HFTF at risk. B&B, does a relationship end? Since they have distinct goals in life, their relationship is probably doomed. It is difficult to believe that Carter would ever give up his hopes of finding love and starting a family in order to continue having risque play dates with Hope. I hope Logan is unable to spend the rest of her life honing her craft of seduction. Her relationship with Carter will therefore probably follow the same course as her connection with Thomas unless Bold and the Beautiful finally molds her into the marrying type. They both seek out various types of relationships with one another. Furthermore, neither is prepared to give the other what they desire at this time. Thus, these two are looking at a double whammy unless there is a significant adjustment. They continue to deceive themselves by believing that Forresters will hear them. They further deceive themselves by believing that their relationship will succeed. And until one of them alters their future plans for the CBS serial opera, it most likely won't. When Hope Logan gets caught in a massive lie, the repercussions ripple through Forrester Creations and her personal relationships, leaving her on the brink of losing everything she holds dear. This explosive revelation is not just a simple fabrication or misstatement but a carefully guarded secret that Hope has kept hidden even from her closest allies. The lie itself, though shocking, isn't just about personal embarrassment or family drama, it goes to the heart of Hope's integrity and the future of her career and relationships. The Forrester family, especially Steffy Forrester, has always been skeptical of Hope, and this revelation only confirms Steffy's suspicions that Hope is not as honest and noble as she presents herself to be. As the truth unravels, Hope's carefully crafted image crumbles, putting her reputation and her closest connections at risk. The drama unfolds when Steffy, initially suspicious of Hope's actions, starts digging deeper after noticing certain inconsistencies in Hope's recent behavior and decisions. Steffy had been growing wary of Hope's support of Carter's business plans, sensing that something wasn't adding up. Hope had always positioned herself as a defender of truth and transparency, yet her actions with Carter and her increasingly erratic decisions hinted at something bigger beneath the surface. The situation reaches a boiling point when Steffy confronts Hope in a tense showdown. Hope tries to brush off Steffy's accusations, insisting that Steffy is overreacting. However, when Steffy reveals that she has proof of Hope's deception, Hope's carefully maintained facade begins to slip. This lie not only threatens her relationship with Steffy and the Forresters but also brings into question her loyalty to her own family. At the heart of the matter, Hope's lie is not simply about personal misjudgment, it is one that impacts the very foundation of Forrester Creations. For months, Hope has been privately communicating with a competitor, possibly even providing insider information to aid in their plans against Forrester. The motivation behind Hope's actions is revealed to be a mix of ambition, insecurity, and her desire to prove herself independently of her family's legacy. She had convinced herself that she was only helping out a friend and that her actions would have no serious repercussions, but the reality is far different. Ridge, who once trusted Hope implicitly, feels deeply betrayed by this revelation. For Ridge, Hope's lie is not just about disloyalty to Forrester Creations, it's a personal betrayal that impacts him on multiple levels. He feels torn between his loyalty to his family and the deep trust he once had in Hope, who he regarded almost like a daughter. This betrayal shakes his faith in her character and judgment, forcing him to reconsider her role within the company. Brooke Logan, Hope's mother, also finds herself caught in the crossfire, defending her daughter despite the overwhelming evidence. Brooke's unconditional support for Hope has always been a cornerstone of their relationship, but this scandal tests even her unwavering loyalty. When confronted with the evidence of Hope's actions, Brooke initially refuses to believe it, adamantly insisting that there must be an explanation. However, as more details emerge, even she has to face the painful truth that Hope has made decisions that are indefensible. Brooke's torn loyalty leads to tension with Ridge, who urges her to hold Hope accountable. This rift between Brooke and Ridge not only jeopardizes their relationship but also highlights the deep divide within the family over how to handle Hope's betrayal. Brooke, in her desperation to protect Hope, begins to question her own judgment, wondering if she enabled her daughter's reckless behavior by always shielding her from consequences. Meanwhile, Hope's relationships with her colleagues and friends are shattered. Zend, who has worked closely with her, feels utterly blindsided. For him, this revelation calls into question the trust he placed in her, both as a friend and as a creative partner. Ivy and Elektra, who have been part of the design team and who looked up to Hope, are equally shocked. They feel betrayed, realizing that Hope's ambition may have always been prioritized over loyalty to her team and the company. Carter, who has been one of her biggest supporters, feels an intense sense of regret for aligning himself with her. His loyalty is tested, and he begins to question if his support for Hope was misplaced, leaving him in a professional dilemma as well. He now faces scrutiny from Ridge and Steffy, who are both disappointed in his judgment for trusting Hope so blindly. His position in Forrester Creations is now at risk, as he grapples with the consequences of his association with her. As the dust settles, Hope attempts to justify her actions by claiming that she was only trying to secure her future, an argument that falls flat in the face of the hurt and anger of those around her. Her pleas for understanding are met with skepticism as everyone grapples with the impact of her deception. Even Liam, who has always stood by her, is shaken. For him, Hope's lie isn't just about her betrayal of Forrester Creations, it's a breach of the trust that forms the foundation of their marriage. Liam begins to question if he truly knows the person he married, a realization that sends shockwaves through their relationship. This revelation forces Hope to confront the fact that her choices have far-reaching consequences, not only for her career but for her personal life as well. In the aftermath of this scandal, Hope's future at Forrester Creations is uncertain. Ridge and Steffy, although hurt, are determined to move forward with the company's best interests at heart, even if that means letting Hope go. The board faces a difficult decision, whether to keep her on and risk further mistrust or to sever ties and start afresh. As Hope faces the consequences of her actions, she must also reckon with the impact of her ambition and deceit on her family and colleagues. The incident becomes a turning point, forcing her to confront the reality of the choices she's made and the person she's become. Her relationships, once strong and supportive, are left fractured, and she is left to rebuild her reputation from the ground up, if that's even possible. Ultimately, the fallout from Hope's massive lie serves as a stark reminder that deception, no matter the intent, often brings about unintended and disastrous consequences. The revelation forces the Forrester family and Hope's loved ones to confront painful truths about loyalty, ambition, and the fine line between personal gain and professional integrity. For Hope, it is a wake-up call that her actions have consequences beyond her own ambitions and desires. This moment of reckoning could either be the catalyst for her redemption or the final chapter in her once promising career at Forrester Creations. The choice, however difficult, is ultimately hers to make, as she must now decide whether she will face her mistakes with honesty or continue down a path of deception that may ultimately lead to her complete undoing.